If you're looking for some music that's going to lull you to sleep at night and tell you that all is well with the world, then this ain't the fucking band. It's Harm's Way. Every now and then you just want to listen to music that makes you want to lift weights and smash someone's face into a wall. These words do not reflect the true feelings of Free to Be Who I Be. They are merely used as a means to sound edgy and provocative. Like everyone, I merely crave acceptance. Be good to each other, people. Subscribe. One of the best things about doing these reviews is that I get to listen to new music. Maybe music that I wouldn't normally have given a chance. I find it's very easy as you get older to fall into that trap of not discovering new bands, or thinking that you are, but in fact all you're doing is just listening to the new material from the bands that you're already into. I had a few people tell me about Harm's Way and that I should check them out. As is often the case, once your attention has been brought to something, you start seeing that thing wherever you go. So I started looking at some of the magazines and online articles, and Harm's Way seemed to be one of those very up and coming bands, starting to get quite a bit of hype around them, starting to get mentioned in quite a few places, and I think rightly so. Kind of in a similar vein to Code Orange, hardcore band primarily, but they incorporate all sorts of different elements into their music. Very aggressive, but brings in elements of hardcore, obviously, death metal, industrial and other stuff. This is the follow-up to their 2015 album, Rust, which I believe got people talking, certainly got people taking notice. I haven't actually had a chance to check that album out, but I definitely will be at some stage. Fuck you, Bixby. Now, I was kind of joking in the intro there about wanting to lift weights, but this music, this really is workout music, and I don't mean as in mindless thuggery or anything like that. I just mean it's very motivational. This is a heavy album. Let's get that out of the way first of all. It's an unrelenting album from start to finish. 34 minutes, 10 tracks. I think it's 10 tracks, and it's just brutal. It's just full on from start to finish. Very motivating album. This is the sort of album that makes you want to do things. There's I mean, some of the lyrics could be construed as nihilistic or negative, but like all hardcore music, at its best, it's striving for something better. It's looking at the world and seeing a lot of the bad that's out there, but a desire to make things better, to transcend, to go above and beyond, to find a purpose in life. That's one of the things that always annoys me when heavy music gets such a bad rap from the press and parents, etc. Because a lot of the lyrics and a lot of the heaviness in these sorts of albums, they come from seeing the bad, not masking it, not hiding it, not running away from it, but embracing it and trying to make something better, trying to rise from the ashes. That's hardcore music, to me at least, at its best. Now, the band are from Chicago, Illinois, and yeah, I think what I've seen conflicting information on this. One couple of places I've seen said they formed in 2006, a couple of other places say 2007, so I'm not too sure, but it was formed. I know there were two members from a band called the Few and the Proud, a straight edge band, that they started this band, Harm's Way, as a side project. I think it was kind of a bit of a joke initially. I remember something about the I don't know if it's the singer they've got with them now. Such a well-informed review. The original singer used to dress up in a mask and sing songs about beating up frat boys and stuff like that. But over time, the band started to become more and more serious, and as each subsequent song and release was put out and formed, they started to incorporate new elements such as death metal, industrial, as I explained earlier, and became Harm's Way, a very, very serious band. And yeah, they're starting to make headway. It's also worth mentioning as well that when they started out, they were heavily influenced by power violence, a form of hardcore music. It was I think started in 1984, something like that. You don't know, do you? Okay, so the band members are Christopher Mills, who is on drums, Bo Luders. I apologise for my foul pronunciation. Who was on guitar and vocals. Now, both of these guys were from The Few and the Proud. Nick Gauthier. Man, I've got to learn how to pronounce properly. Nick Gauthier is on the guitar and vocals. There's no bass player credited on the liner notes of the album. I mean, they are very, very low-tuned musicians, so maybe the synths and stuff take care of that, but there's no one actually credited for that either, so God, I'm talking shit. And James Pledge, whose name I do apologise if I get wrong, because he's built like a fucking truck. I'm guessing there's definitely a strong Henry Rollins influence in this band overall, and especially with this guy. I've seen a couple of interviews with him and he did reference Rollins a few times, and well you should. Rollins is one of my all-time heroes. Gleaned a lot from reading his books and listening to his music. Very, very inspirational guy, so I can see why he'd be an inspiration on this band. Musically speaking, in terms of influences, there's definitely a Hatebreed. There's definitely some Hatebreed moments, as well as I said earlier, death metal, etc. The other main influence that I keep coming back to on this album is Godflesh. There's definitely a lot of the industrial moments have a real Godflesh flavour to them, and it works very well in that dark, foreboding, atmospheric, claustrophobic way that Justin Broderick brought to his music. All good. What's not to love? Seriously. I've listened to a bunch of interviews with the band, and as is often the case with metalheads and hardcore in this case, especially with a lot of hardcore, these are actually thinking men. They're not idiots. They're not. It isn't just shouting for shouting's sake. There's definitely there's a lot of thought that goes into their music, and there's a lot of thought that goes into the lyrics. I found them to be very thought-provoking and very intelligent and very articulate, unlike me. Ugh. Enough. Okay, now let's get into the songs. Starting out with Human Carrying Capacity. Straight out the gate, heavy as fuck. Let's go. And this song is a good indication of what's to come, because it does incorporate a lot of the aforementioned elements in this one song. Hardcore, metal, sludge, industrial, death metal. Pilges. I'll refer to him as the Hulk from now on, as to not get his name wrong. Yes, and the Hulk delivers a very passionate vocal performance. Not much variation in his vocals throughout the album, I will say, but don't think you necessarily need to. Do whatever you like, Mr. Hulk. Next up is Last Man, which starts off with an industrial riff, which wouldn't be out of place on a Ministry album, before going into more hardcore leanings. After that we have Sink, very mid-paced song, heavy as hell, elements of death metal. The lyrics on this song talk about self-reliance and finding a purpose. I'll just read some of them now. Must trust yourself to get through the day. A troubled soul can't get enough to find purpose or self-destruct. So yeah, finding a meaning to everything. Not just waking up and having a nihilistic view on the world, but waking up and like, okay, I need to find something, I need to do something. I like that. I like that a lot. Temptation. This actually changes things up a little bit. It's kind of got a Fugazi. I get elements of Fugazi in this, and again with the aforementioned Godflesh vibe. Definitely a sort of Rollins-esque theme to the lyrics. Very atmospheric and moody. Song builds to a crushing close as well. Whoa, fucking hell. Become a Machine. This is a good song. There's a video for this one. This is one of the singles that was released for the album. I don't know if there was any other singles actually, but well, this is one. Anyway, so check out the video for this if I remember. I never leave any links in the description. I say about doing it and I never bloody do, but if I remember, I'll put a link in the description for the video. You can just Google it, to be honest. This is more metallic in delivery, but does definitely have hardcore elements into it, and the outro breakdown is you're going to bang your head to this one. This I defy you to resist the breakdown on this song. And then Call My Name starts out with a Sepultura-esque drum bits, drum stuff, drummy things. I'm not sure what tunings they use, but I'm assuming it's 7 or 8 string guitars. And yeah, a lot of their heaviest riffs are quite often the slow ones. That's quite often the case actually. A lot of the faster, thrashier stuff sometimes doesn't quite hold up to some of the really slower kind of stuff. There's some Gojira vibes on here, and a really effective use of double bass drums in elements of the song. Next up we've got Unreality, and this is another straight up pulverizing song. Just read some of the lyrics for you on this one. Looking down from a distant planet, am I asleep? A lucid dream. Through the looking glass to see myself. Why is this? What I perceive. Is this madness? It's a good song, this one. Really enjoyed this one. Dissect Me is up next. Again, considering they're labelled a hardcore band and they more than happily fly that flag themselves, they display so many other elements of heavy music. I wouldn't necessarily call this hardcore music myself. There's certainly elements of that, but again I find elements of Gojira, Hatebreed, some slower, sludgier stuff in here. Fucking awesome, great. Penultimate track, The Gift, and the gear shift again on here. This is another atmospheric slow one, like Temptation. I actually really like this one. I've heard a few people say that they feel this slows the album up or gets in the way. I actually think it's a very atmospheric song. Godflesh style industrial tinge to this song yet again. Awesome. And finally, the album closer is Dead Space. Now the riffing on the album as a whole is somewhat simplistic, but it's very effective, as it is on this song. But it always packs a muscular punch. There's like purpose. There's a target. There's focus to the delivery, which just works really well. As I stated earlier, this sort of music is just very motivating. It makes you just want to get up and do something, to achieve something. The lyrics in this song give me a feeling of searching for a higher purpose in life, wanting to achieve something. I'll just read some of them now. Pull myself from misery. I can't escape my soul. Will I find my destiny? Try to manifest a dream. So always looking beyond, always looking further than the self, further than the situation you're in. Wanting to get better, wanting something better from life. That's not a bad fucking thing. So that is Posthuman by Harm's Way. Great album, very motivating. No fat on this album at all. Everything's straight to the point. Get on with it. Let's do this. Fantastic production. Guitars sound fat and heavy. The drums really snap, I found. The drums really kick in on this. You really feel the drums on this. And the Hulk's vocals, you know exactly what you're getting. No messing around on this. Very good album. Highly recommended. I'm not going to bother with scores out of 10 anymore, because I just I find it annoying. we live in an age where you have access to this music pretty easy. So if anything I've said here has piqued your interest with the band or made you want to check them out, then you know all the places you can go to find them out. But yeah, I highly recommend this album. Really enjoyed listening to it. 34 minutes to the point, bang, done. If you enjoyed this review, if you made it this far listening to my shit and you enjoyed it, you got something out of it, you learned something, maybe you're now listening to this music, give me a subscribe. I think I deserve that. And yeah, drop a subscribe, drop a comment. Always good to hear from you guys. More comments are always welcome. And I don't know what I'm going to be reviewing next in terms of my album review, but the next classic album review is going to be Burn My Eyes by Machine Head. I've got another PMA episode coming up very soon. I'm going to be doing a Typo Negative Bloody Kisses review in a couple of weeks as well. So plenty of stuff coming up, plenty of stuff to look out for. Don't be a bitch, subscribe.